Welcome to the Shakaama Live Show with your host, Shakaama. Please support independent journalists like me, just $5 or something like that. Thank you. You do know that all of the independent journalists here on YouTube are suffering. And some of you have told me that you already support other people. Okay, what about me? Huh? Carla loves men. She has always loved men. This story is taken directly from Carla. Of course, her name is not Carla, as are all of the other stories. These are stories that they write online and willingly tell themselves. She has always loved men. Tall, dark, and handsome. Heck, they could even be 5'10". At 5 foot tall herself, she could still wear heels and look up to them. But 5'10" was the shortest she'd date or meet for drinks, if you know what I mean. Carla is a free spirit. She always wanted to be free. Today, she turned 60. She's a sassy 60-year-old woman and free. Yes, queen. All the girls running down the street say that to each other. She stopped one day and asked what they were saying. It means yes, queen, as in I support you or agree with you. Something like that. So she tore into her birthday bran muffin, no candles, and thought to herself, yes, queen. She looked around the coffee shop and smiled at a young man sitting at the next table. She expected him to smile back, but he seemingly looked right through her and went back to his cell phone. 15 minutes later, 2 more guy friends joined him and they all sat quietly looking at their phones. Yes, queen, she thought again as she finished her bran muffin. 60. A few more years and she'd be filing for retirement. Someone said at her elbow. She looked up and it was the young man at the table next to her, standing up now. Sir, could you move? We have a study group showing up and there's a table over there by the window you could sit at. What? Carla said. Could you move to that table? He said, rolling his eyes. What did you call me? Carla asked. I didn't call you anything. We just want to study together, the young man said. I'm a woman, Carla said. 3 more guys came in, heading towards the direction. Carla got up and left. Carla made it home. She flopped in the chair by the window, an open book laying face down on the pillow beside it. She could see 2 college-age girls outside the window stop and start talking. One kept looking over the other's shoulder toward Carla, almost angry. This continued for about 5 minutes of her looking towards Carla angrily. They left and Carla picked up the book. Not a minute later, there came a knock on the door. Carla went to the door and 2 police stood there with their guns drawn, pointing at her. Carla shrieked and dropped the book, still in her hand. Sir, come out with your hands up, one said. Carla froze. With her hands up, the police repeated it. Finally, Carla regained her senses and said, I'm not a sir. The police gave a confused look and turned to his partner. Really? Apparently the women had thought Carla was a pervy old man and had called the police on her or him in their head. She informed the police that they stopped in front of her window. The police shrugged and finally left after seeing her ID. Carla went back to her book. She looked back over her life. She was 60 now. She had set out to be free, independent. She had thrown caution to the wind and be the lover of many, many men. She had no kids. Oh, not to say that she never got pregnant, but she had done what she had to do to remain independent and free. But now she wishes she could go back and tell her past self what her future self now knows. To not be independent, to get married, to have children. Because now she had a little bit of money, very little at that, and her own place, and it meant nothing to her. Because now she's 60 and has nothing to show for it. She's the cool aunt. But apparently she's not the pretty lady. She had run into a couple of her former loves. It was different for men. They both had kids, and one was still married. The other was divorced. Apparently his wife had thought to be independent too. his grown kids came to live with him in his big house. His grandkids and soon-to-be great-grandkids were to be running around that big house. Carla refused to get cats or even dogs. Her house was utterly silent all the time. She regretted everything. Now she had to write a few more books to stay afloat. The Social Security she already knew wouldn't be much of anything since she never really worked. She had been such a fool, and now she had nothing to show for it. She went and redid her will. Her lawyer was happy to see her because it meant more money for her, the lawyer. When she left the law office, she could imagine the female lawyer counting the money, although it was all now done by debit cards. Carla needed a vacation or something, anything to forget that she was 60s and full of regret. Hey, thank you guys for watching. What's your opinion about this?